Hey, what's up everyone? In today's video, we're gonna be talking about why your sales team must have a zero tolerance policy in place when it comes to limiting beliefs. In doing so, you'll be able to increase the price of your product or service. You'll be able to generate more revenue, and you'll also be able to level up the skills of your sales team. Your appointment setters, your closers, the entire ecosystem will grow, get better in mindset, and be able to perform better than they ever have. If you guys are brand new to the channel, welcome. My name is Starr, and I teach people how to do outbound sales, run sales teams and organizations, things like appointment setting, closing, the whole shebang, so that you can level up your skills in sales and or grow a sales team if you're watching this and you're an entrepreneur trying to get in the B2B space. And as somebody who has been doing outbound and sales for years, I can say that limiting beliefs is the biggest thing that's going to hold you back if you're in a sales position watching this video, or your team back if you allow it to creep up. So let me give you context as to what happened before I go into the cadence of what to do if a limiting belief ever comes up in your organization. So about a month ago, we set a new record on the team, right? Hired new people from January of 2022, almost crossed 100,000 in cold outbound, actually cold calling, setting appointments, and closing deals. Back in February, we were one deal shy because February, unfortunately, was one day, a couple days short at the end of the month. And then the next month, crossed the threshold of 100,000, breaking 108K in revenue, doing completely cold outbound. And what's interesting is when we finally broke the six-figure marker for a brand new offer, right? This wasn't even including our highest ticket stuff, like our 50 and our 100K offers. This is more lower ticket than that, but still high ticket. Only sales from those were able to crack six figures in cold outbound. And we had a lot of case studies and really big wins come in. So now put yourself in this position, right? Your team is winning, you're pumped. As a company, your sales teams are pumped for setting a new record, right? Everybody's on cloud 9, right? And we have really big wins come in terms of case studies. And it was time to do what every company should be doing, and that is increase the price of the program. And so we knew it was time. We had already set the goal of every single quarter, we're gonna increase the price of the program because the value we were giving people and the results we were getting is just increasing, getting better and better and better as we make the product and service better. Thus, we have every right to increase the price of the program. Now, as myself, who's been in sales and closing for a very long time and running multiple teams, I always get excited when it comes to increasing the price of something, right? Because if you're in a sales position, you now get to close a higher amount, which means you get to make more revenue. And if you make more revenue, you get higher percentage of money out of your commissions, right? You make more money because whatever your commission rate is, the more the price increase happens. So we just set this new record. And genuinely, when it comes to the sales team, I'm a very positive, happy-go-lucky guy, right? We normal stuff running our organization, and then I found myself getting extremely triggered on this day. In fact, I think for a lot of the new people on the team who hasn't known me for a long time, were a little caught off guard about how irritated I got, because I never really get irritated very often, but when it comes to limiting beliefs on the team, irritation will hit 10 out of 10 very, very quickly. That's why zero toleration is very, very important. So it was time to increase the price of the program, and we announced what was gonna happen. And ironically enough, the top three closers on our team, number one and number two, who had just literally sold the most that month when we set the record, were the ones who had an issue with the price increase, which I found very fascinating. And so we're talking about increasing the price, and they say, well, I think this is a bad idea. And I'm looking at them like, what is a bad idea? Why are you guys opposed to increasing the price of the program? Let me look at the results we're getting people. We're gonna make more money. And they felt that we should continue at the same price point to go months and months in advance, to keep them hitting those levels at that price point and getting them comfortable first before increasing the price of the program. Now, one of the individuals who was number 2 on the team was a recent hire. He's probably in for about a month and a half. And so he's like, listen, this is the only price point I know. I'm just now trying to get comfortable at this price point, right? And just so you guys know, the word comfort, especially when it comes to sales, that's my second trigger word for really, really irritating me, that I have a zero tolerance for, because when it comes to growth, especially in sales, there's no such thing as comfort. Okay, so we're addressing this, and I looked at the individual and I say, listen, I understand that you feel that by increasing the price, you're going to end up not selling as much, but you do realize that by increasing the price, you can sell less and make more money, right? And so they were like, well, yes, but if we sell significantly less, then we're not going to make as much. And a lot of these people that we're attracting, again, another limiting belief, aren't going to be able to afford the new price point. Okay, at this point, I'll be honest with you, this is when I was like, okay, that's like, put my foot down, enough is enough. Because when it comes to sales and closing, why you must have a no tolerance rule for limiting beliefs is when it comes to your sales team, it is their job to increase the value and show the value of your product and service when they are talking to prospects, period. And what's fascinating is out of the people we were already attracting, I look at them and I'm like, listen, this person who just got this result and this person who just got this result, right? What makes you think that when you spoke to them before, somebody qualified at that level would not have paid the extra revenue? You do realize they would have said yes, right? Right? And I also told them, had I have hired you a month later into the future, you wouldn't even have known about the previous price point being slightly lower, right? And he's looking at me, well, yeah, like exactly. So if I hired you on day one when the new price point, you're just going to sit there and then not deliver value to the prospect and not attempt to sell it at this price point, given that that's the price point it's being sold for? So after they're sitting there thinking about it, even with payment plans, they were trying to justify it. And one guy on our team was really sitting there. I'm like, I don't see what the big deal is. Like, why are you guys even having issues with this? Like, let's just do your job, provide value. I look at him, I'm like, yes, exactly. So I went off this entire tangent, telling them about how it's a limiting belief. Thus, they argued with me saying, no, it's not a limited belief, it's blah, 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 it's this, it's this, it's that. I'm here to tell you, anytime it comes to increasing price and sales and giving value to something, for something you haven't done before, it is always a limiting belief. And I'm gonna tell you how to address whenever this comes up and what to do about it, right? Number one, the first thing you must do is you must address the limiting belief, period. Right then and there. So I addressed it, told all the team, said, listen, this is what's gonna happen, period. Like, this is a limiting belief. You guys have to get over it. We don't want prospects having limiting beliefs and even be able to overcome limiting beliefs when it comes to prospects. How are you supposed to do that if you have the limiting belief yourself, right? If you don't see the value in what it is we are selling at this price point, then you're not going to see then they're not going to see the value, right? It's going to affect the sales calls. Anytime you are in sales, you have to understand for yourself and your reps is that if you have it in the back of your mind that they're not going to be able to quote unquote afford it, which is ridiculous if you're building the value, or you're not going to be able to sell as many of them at the new price point, guess what your brain is going to do? Your brain is literally going to validate exactly what it is that you just thought, and you're going to basically place that belief on the prospect, and then all of a sudden, because of your demeanor, not building enough value and focusing on doing your job as a closer, the prospect's gonna say the magical words of, oh, well, I can't make it happen, or I can't afford it. And they're gonna be like, ha, see, I knew it. I knew it. It's called confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is one of the biases of the brain that will confirm whatever it is that you believe, which is why also there must be a zero toleration rule in place when it comes to this, because you cannot have your sales team going into it with the mindset of this belief and it holding them back from performing, okay? So that's number one. Number one is you must address it, okay? Number two, to overcome it, you must force them into action. Anytime you're increasing the price of your program, regardless of the limiting beliefs that they have, you want to, after you address it, you must force them into it, right? They must still take action and validate to their brain that it is possible to sell at the new price point as soon as possible, right? Nothing changes. If there's a qualified prospect and the prospect is qualified, it's not going to make a difference in the value that you are bringing, right? Now, the caveat of this, of course, you cannot increase the price of your program if you're not actually helping people get results. Like, I mean, the results we're getting at the time are like insane. And I'll tell you about the craziest one that just happened very recently. But so force them into action. So now we're carrying on to the next month, right? And then lo and behold, because some people were holding these beliefs in the very start of the month, guess what? We're building up pressure, building up pressure, building up pressure, and no sales have finally been coming in, right? They're getting hit with the resistance, they're getting hit with the objections. And then all of a sudden, boom, somebody who just got upgraded to a closing position, right, did not close last month. So this is someone who was a setter. Now, this next month, these people had the limiting beliefs. The new setter gets upgraded to a closing position. So starting on a completely fresh slate, hadn't even been on calls the previous month. So there's no types of adherence of limiting beliefs that can affect this individual. He just followed the process, the same process that was put in place. And guess what happened? He was the first person to get a paid in full off of the new price point. Why? Why did that happen? Because he didn't suffer the limiting belief because he didn't know any better. He didn't know any better. He still just performed as anyone else would, right? And then right after that, boom, another sale came in of a paid in full, right? Collecting the revenue immediately afterwards, right? Now, still just one person who, ironically, the person that had the most limiting belief last month, that was that number one on the team, who was like, oh, no, this is going to affect everything, is not even on the board this month. Not even on the board yet, right? Has this up pending, people making it work. It could be something holding him back. I don't know. But I just want everyone to see the concept here of how someone can come in like fresh, like brand new, with no limiting beliefs whatsoever, not even knowing any better, comes on and closes at the new high ticket price point. But the person who was the top performer, or one of the top performers the previous month, now has a limiting belief, is not performing up to par or standards because of it, right? But why we must force people into action is because when you do so and you address the limiting belief, you force them into action, they're going to see other people getting results and they're going to be like, well, wait a second. Okay, it is possible to sell at this price point, right? Which is number three. Number three is you want to always reaffirm and validate the new belief for your sales team anytime this happens. You never cave to a limiting belief when it comes to your sales rep. Because remember here, I told you, it's all about increasing revenue, increasing the price, and also leveling up and growing your sales team, right? Growth is very, very important. Never, ever keeping them, quote unquote, comfortable. Comfortable isn't growth. No one grows in terms of comfort. Discomfort is how growth happens, right? We must force them into discomfort. Now, if you're listening, you're watching, as somebody who's literally ran multiple sales teams, had a team as high as 60 closers before, you may be thinking, well, what if they have that limiting belief and I force them into growth and then nothing happens and they don't adapt? Well, if nothing ever happens for that individual and they don't adapt, then they just weren't cut out for growth, right? What's going to happen is someone else is going to step up, they're going to grow, they're going to perform, and the other people will either get over the limiting belief and adapt, or they'll fall away and they'll just never grow and they won't get results. And you know what? That's okay. That is the entire purpose of growth and sales. Not everyone is able to go and adapt and grow to the next level and adhere to new standards, right? You must force people into it, because people who want to stay comfortable are not going to just throw themselves into discomfort, right? So let's address it. Let's say this again. So number one, you must address it, okay? Address the limiting belief as soon as it comes up and label it as what it is. It is a limiting belief, even if they do not believe that that is the case. So after this all happened and people are quote unquote thinking about it, what's interesting is I was talking to the team now this month and I'm like, hey, well, what's going on, guys? I thought that it was going to be so much more difficult to be able to go and sell. Now, mind you, I want to say for the record here, the time recording this, our sales revenue is down. It is less as of right now on pace for what we were last month. Why? Because I just told you that you have to force them into action, reaffirm, and get them to go over the limiting beliefs so that way you can go and catch up and build momentum. Once they're closing at the same rate they were before, guess what? More revenue will come in. It is a process, right? Unfortunately, it's a process where you must go through and break the limiting belief, but have no tolerance for it, okay? So sales are down, but now all of a sudden they're like, you know what? You're right. The people that are coming in that are super qualified are just as qualified as the other people. And I'm just like, I know, that's what I told you. It's just you just have to be put in that position. And every time you increase the price of something and you sell something at a higher ticket and you get over that belief, it's like these locking mechanisms in your brain will just unlock. I don't know how else to explain it, but if somebody for me who has sold, 50K plus packages for selling what we're selling now at the price increase, I don't have that issue. Right? In fact, I was telling my team when they're like, well, oh, it's gonna be harder to sell and blah, blah, blah. I was like, don't put that on me. Like, don't stack that shit on me. It may be harder for you to sell. It changes nothing for me, right? Because I understand the value we bring. So after we increased the price, not only did they reaffirm that it was possible to do so, but we had a 24-hour turnaround. One day, 24-hour turnaround of a paid in full at the higher price point, completely cold outreach. Cold calling, setting appointment, going through the process, collecting revenue, and enrolling in a 24-hour period at the higher price point, right? Crazy. And through this process, we got another case study, right? Huge case study just came in where somebody who was earlier in the product, the program that was being sold, just cleared $1 million, 7 figures in 1 quarter. 1 quarter, $1 million in a quarter. So I'm sitting here this morning on the morning meeting at the time of recording this. It's so funny. We're going over this. I'm like, oh, hey guys, did you all see the awesome results that we just had for a new case study? And some people are like, oh yeah, and other people didn't. I was like, oh, well, just to reaffirm what happened, right? She cleared 7 figures in 1 quarter. I'm always reaffirming the decision of the belief that is holding the team back over and over again and reminding them of the wins that the clients get. And I told them, like, guys, do you think the new price point is worth the result that is possible and that everyone is getting? Do you guys see how it does not change anything? And every single time I say it and reaffirm it, they're all saying, yes, yes. Now, it's very important when you reaffirm the new belief, you must get them to claim it. Right? On this channel, I talk to you guys about sales when it comes to prospects, how it's important to claim new identities. The same thing happens when it comes to your sales team. You must always address certain beliefs, certain character flaws and traits that you see in your sales team and poke at it and prod at it and get them to change their identity. And once they admit to that change, you make them claim it. Yes, Dylan, I see how it changes nothing and it's valued at this price point because of the results that we just got. They say it out loud, which is powerful. There is power in the word yes, right? That's how people claim the new identity. So through doing so, now they understand that, okay, I can do this. It's okay. And guess what's going to happen, right? When we increase the price of the program again, the same process will happen over and over again. But I want you guys to understand, if you're watching this and you're fearful of ever increasing your prices, understand that the more you increase your prices, the higher quality people you're going to attract, right? So the fear that salespeople have, and also business owners, if you're watching this and you're an entrepreneur, is that if they increase their prices, they're like, well, more people will say no. That is true. But what's happening is that lower caliber person who did not have the identity to move forward at the higher price point, and it is not going to, they're going to get away if they didn't have the right identity. They're just not going to join. So you're going to attract better people who are going to be even bigger case studies. And when you get bigger case studies, guess what happens? The bigger case studies leverage for more prospects to move forward because you have way more leveraging power because the case study is even grander, and it's going to enforce the belief in your sales team because the bigger case studies, the more belief that rises in your sales reps, and they're going to get the confidence and the courage and the certainty to charge higher ticket over and over and over again and get used to being uncomfortable, right? Just saying the word comfort, I was like, I just want to wash it off my freaking body. I can't stand it so much. But it's just so fascinating that how someone new can come on and go pave the way, get the first paid in full at the new high price point, just following the process, not suffering from the limiting belief, and then seeing the top 2 individuals be behind who were killing it the previous month, and they're the only ones the only ones who had the limiting belief, and now deals are starting to go and move forward. And hopefully, by next month, we're going to be setting new records, getting on pace, because now in order to do 100K, guess what? We don't have to sell as many deals as we did last month. So once the limiting beliefs are gone, then it's, off to the races, going to be able to go and scale. So I hope this made sense. I hope you guys found this valuable. And I'm sorry if it seemed like a tangent, but it's a really good concept to cover, and really good for my sales team to go and watch as well, right? I treat my sales team like family. I love our team. And for my leaders of my organization, as someone who practices what they preach, and trains other sales teams, I cannot, in my shoes, even tolerate somebody on my own team having limiting beliefs and being the beast that they are meant to be, and helping them grow and elevate to that next level. Because if my team has it, how in the world am I going to be able to go and train other people's teams and address it on their team? I can't address it on someone else if I don't address it on my own. That's very, very, very important. So I hope this was valuable to you guys. And if you're ever in a situation where yourself is running into this belief, just do the same thing. Address it, understand and claim that it's a limiting belief. Force yourself into action, even regardless if you think it's possible to go and close at the high price point. Prove to your brain that the opposite of what you believe, that you can do it. You can do it. And then when you do it, boom, you're going to reaffirm that new decision and accept the new belief. Accept that you are able to be uncomfortable and grow to the next level, and that you can do anything. All you must do is build the value in what you're selling to the prospect, right? And brainwash yourself into the value that you bring by reminding yourself of the successes that you, yourself, or your company, whoever you're closing for, has brought to your clients. And the impact you are bringing is going to make this process so much easier, right? And if you're watching this and you have a team, again, zero toleration. Do not show that you're okay with any type of limiting belief when it comes to your sales team. Very, very important. You must put your foot down. You must nip it in the butt as soon as possible, right? And then go ahead and address those new beliefs so that they can go out, perform, increase the price, increase the revenue, and level up the skills of your sales team. Hope you guys found this valuable. I'll see you guys on the next episode.